It's my pleasure to welcome you to the grand announcement of the expansion of Westrock Coffee. And thank you for coming. I'm a little shocked. I thought we'd have 8 or 10 people. So thanks for coming. I hope we have enough coffee and food for you. And so we've got just a brief program for you today. This is a major expansion announcement, both for Conway, and then we have a major expansion going on in Concord, North Carolina, which is the home of the original S&D Coffee, which we merged with about 2 years ago. And then we're about to start production in the plant in Malaysia that we've been building for the last year, which will serve Southeast Asia and the Middle East. And so we just decided to wait and get all 3 of them on one day, have to do this once. Hi, Ted Dickey. Thank you for making this happen. We appreciate that. There's a number of dignitaries, first and foremost, which is my wife. Dee Dee, give everybody a wave. Go read the Old Testament and think about long suffering, and her picture's right there beside it. So, Joe T. Ford, will you come up here and talk to people for just a minute? Yeah, come on, you need to. While you're coming, on the distinguished gentlemen and ladies list, we've got Representative French Hill that's here. Thank you, French, for coming. We appreciate it. Hello. Hey, Mary. Yeah, right. We got Jimmy Harris from Senator Bozeman's office. Thank you for coming. We appreciate it. I talked to Senator Bozeman. I also talked to Senator Cotton. He said that they had lines to dig and defenses to hold between now and Christmas. They'd get here if he could. And I said, so you're not coming? And he said, probably not. Secretary of Commerce, Mike Preston. Mike, thank you for coming. So those are the dignitaries from afar. Now let's get focused and I thought maybe that was a piece of machinery that was ahead of schedule, sorry. Let's get close to home. Right here in the Grand County of Faulkner County, we've got County Judge Jim Baker and then certain members of the Quorum Court. Thank you very much. And then I'm told that there's some Conway City Council members here. Is that true? There you are. Thank you. Thank you for coming. And Conway Development Corporation, which that's separate from the City Council. Okay. You can tell I live in the private sector. I don't know where the lines are drawn. Are they here? All right. Thank you for coming, everybody. We appreciate it. And then the Conway Area Chamber of Commerce. All right. We really appreciate you taking any time, let alone the whole 30 minutes that this is going to take to come out and spend with us. So thank you very much for that. I'm just going to say just a quick word about Westrock Coffee. You may not know that the roots of Westrock Coffee are in Faulkner County. And most of you are going, well, I don't know how that can be. Well, that's because you don't know the story that motivated the first thing we did that got us into the coffee business in Rwanda, which is over in East Africa, between Uganda and Kenya and Tanzania and the Congo. And that's because my father, Joe Ford, is from right here in Faulkner County. He grew up maybe in or just outside of Worcester. Everybody know where Worcester is? So he grew up in Worcester, and then in the first grade, they moved to the big city. How big was Conway when you moved down here? About 5,000 people. And his oldest friend in the world, Bill Johnson, down here, they met in the first grade. Thank you for coming, Bill. We appreciate it. I will tell you a little bit more about that in a minute, but before I do, let me introduce, this is my other partner, my partner in Westrock Coffee, the guy when it was really, really hard and it was basically down to Dee Dee and I, and we were looking at going to zero because that's what it took to start this business. He was the one that came along and says, you look like you need a salesman to me. And I said, I can't afford a salesman. Elizabeth McLaughlin, there you are. Elizabeth was right behind him and she said, I'm coming to work. I'm going to help you sell your way out of this. I said, I can't afford to pay anybody. I'm about broke. That's what it's taken. And they said, well, we're just going to work for free until you can. And this man went to work, and Elizabeth came and joined us, and we sold our way out of it. And today we're the largest coffee service provider to restaurants and retailers in the country. And in the next 5 years, we will be in the world. But it's only because of the root stock that was right here in Faulkner County that just clung to life when it was not easy. So Joe Ford, it's my great honor to turn over the podium not only to my most favorite man in the world, but my of Faulkner County.
I did not know he was going to do that. My other longtime friend here is Charles Nowpoles, and I was with him. There he is back here. I remember when his brother started Nowpoles Construction Company, and what a great job they've done through these many years. And Charlie, I appreciate your friendship. I'm sorry. Three months ago, I went to the hospital. My doctors told me I'm lucky to be here. I am lucky to be here. But I so much wanted to come to this, my hometown, and bring to you a great company full of great people. And what most people don't know, we operate well outside the United States, and we will be one of the top companies of this type in the world in short order. Thank you for being here. Thank you for helping us. And God bless each of you as He's blessed me.
He's special, y'all. He's special. So everybody knows Joe Ford around here. A lot of people know Joe Ford. Joe Ford went to the University of Arkansas, and then he went and was in the state senate for years and years, and he helped build a company called what became Alltel. It was originally Allied Telephone, became Alltel, and then he did really, really well in life and all of that. And then we started Westrock Coffee together in 2009 because we had seen an issue that kind of reminded us of something we'd seen before, and that's the root stock here in Faulkner County. What a lot of you don't know is that Ruby and Arch Ford had 3 sons. The only one to survive the Depression out there in the Cadron River bottoms outside of Worcester was Joe. Life was hard. Everybody knows how it goes. Everybody's got a family story. It's just the way it is. Well, I thought that family story had largely ceased to have to exist in most parts of the world. And after we sold Alltel, I was doing some charity work in Rwanda where my wife and I had been doing orphanage stuff for long story. It's too long to go into here. And I realized that Rwanda grew great coffee, but they also sold it for about half what all the other coffee sells for in that part of the world. And I said, well, how is it that you have something that's better that sells for half? That doesn't make any sense. And we started working backwards. We started at the plant of the literal coffee tree and worked our way forward into who buys it, who does what, and then how does it finally get to the world market. And we figured out that there were only 2 mills that milled coffee. You have to mill it before you can, separate it out and put it in the canvas bags and then put them in the shipping containers and ship them to somebody that's going to roast them. That's the supply chain in a nutshell right there. So it has to go through a mill in the local country. And there were 2 mills, and these 2 guys basically every day offered about half what the coffee was worth. And they'd gotten away with it for a long time because nobody said, I'm going to do something about it. So my wife and I, my dad and I, we were talking about it, and we said, we're going to do something about that because these women are trying to keep their children alive. They're some of the poorest people in the world, and somebody sitting in Switzerland, 2 guys sitting in Switzerland, are profiteering off of that, and we can fix that. I had no idea that I'd spend the rest of my career in the coffee industry. I thought I would make one investment, help these women get their livelihood together, We drove the price up, and as we raised the price we offered, the other two guys, what'd they do? They just let me take all the market share? No, they matched our price, and they started paying. So the people in Rwanda have no idea why they started getting twice what they were getting the week before. They don't understand market structure. They'd never heard of Westrock Coffee. They'd never heard of Joe Ford, Dee Dee Ford, Scott Ford, or Faulkner County. But they benefited because of the story that came from here, and we saw the exact same kind of thing playing out where people are trying to keep their children alive. Well, we went on to build the world's, to this day, only fully digitally traceable supply chain. So there are people in Bentonville that can sit and look at the coffee single-serve cup that you buy like in the donut shop, Members Mark donut shop, if you've ever bought one, just to give you an example. There are people in Bentonville that can look at that cup and they can tell you exactly which farmer's coffee is in that cup, what day we bought it, what the quality of the coffee was she brought in, what price we paid her. Hi, Ellis.
That's mine.
Hi, Ellis. We can tell them what price we paid them, and then we can tell her whether she has been educated in agronomy and the finances of balancing her expenses and her revenue, and whether she's making more money this year than she made last year. And what happens when we drive the price up? She can afford more. What do these women do with the money they make when their coffee price goes up? We've done big, extensive studies on it. First thing they do, they increase the protein into their children's diet, just like grandparents around here did, right? Because they lived largely on a vegetable barter system. First thing they do is increase protein. Second thing they do is they don't care if they have to go hire them. Some of the poorest people in the world, as soon as they get that cash, they go hire a tutor for the children in their neighborhood so that their children get a good education. You increase protein to your children in their diet, you increase their education. It's exactly what happened here. That's how the free market system works. The free market system works because it's the only system where the poorest of the poor can change their economic status. I'm not saying it's perfect, I'm just saying it's the only one in the world where the poorest of the poor can change their economic status. That's what it looks like over 84 years, right there. Well, the same thing is happening in Rwanda. 10 years, 20 years, 30 years down the line, the exact same thing that happened here is happening there. And it's brought about because people here choose to buy products from companies that we serve. Most of the coffee we serve, you'll never know it's us. And I'm not supposed to tell everybody that we serve, but if you've been through a major drive-through restaurant where you buy a burger or a chicken, or you've been to a pancake house, or you've been drinking our coffee under their brand. So we operate as the brand behind the brands, where we give full digital traceability to our customers, who then in turn serve the public. And every time we grow that piece of the business, every time we win a customer, or you buy coffee from one of those restaurants or from those retailers, you increase the pull on the supply chain to help people make a living. That's the Westrock Coffee business model in a nutshell. We are thrilled to be here. I'd love to tell you what we're going to do here, but my knowledge is superficial. I'd like to introduce you to one of my other favorite people in the world, and there's one back there. There's Sam, and here's Will Ford, who runs our operations, who's going to actually walk you through what's going to happen here in the service of the business model I just described to you. Will?
I don't even know if I'll look at those notes, frankly. Yeah, so what the heck are we doing here? It's a great question. Here at the former Kimberly-Clark plant, we'd like to announce that we're about to build the nation's largest roasting to ready-to-drink coffee facility. And so what this plant will be able to do is we'll be able to roast coffee, we'll be able to package it in single-serve cups, we'll be able to package it in bottles, cans, bibs. It's a quickly growing market for us and for everybody in the United States. And so we're just happy for the opportunity, for the niche market that this plant provide us the opportunity to come in and fill. I'd like to thank a couple people for allowing us to get here. I'd like to thank Mike Preston and the state of Arkansas for their help along the way. I'd like to thank Brad. Brad, where are you? There you are, Brad. You're the man. Extremely kind and extremely gracious in this period of what it means to come in and to buy a facility. I've never done it before, especially one of this size. So thank you for your help, for your guidance, and this support in this endeavor. Lastly, I'd like to thank Ted Dickey. Ted Dickey is a personal friend of mine and a mentor. And in this situation, he also happens to be our real estate broker. So Ted, thank you for your help and for your guidance along the way. So with this acquisition of this facility, this brings in Arkansas our manufacturing square footage to just under 1 million square feet. We've got 3 other facilities here. We have a distribution center and 2 other packaging facilities. We're really excited to add on this addition. Additionally, in Concord, as Scott mentioned, Concord's in North Carolina, just outside of Charlotte. We're adding an extended opportunity to increase our extracts capability. What is extracts? It's a great question. Extracts is the base product that fills up what we drink on the other side of this wall, a cold brew product. And it's a growing market for us, and so we're continuing to invest in North Carolina and our operations there and extending there. Last, we're announcing the opening of our plant in Malaysia. So in the middle of COVID, we got asked by one of our largest customers if we could help fill a need for them. And they pointed on a map, could you go here? Turns out it's a little bit more difficult to build a plant in the middle of COVID. Quick story is, I woke up one morning to a phone call from a guy on our team. He called me, he goes, Will, hey boss, small problem. The container that's supposed to be in Malaysia, it's in Miami. And we're supposed to be unloading it tomorrow. Okay, I don't think we're gonna be able to do that. Let's talk in 6 hours and see what happened. 6 hours later, he calls me back. He goes, okay, good news. It's in Vietnam. We found it. It's in Vietnam. Fastest transportation. FedEx can't beat that, all right? Anyways, it's been a journey. It's been a journey for all of us, for everybody who's been in operations, for everybody in this whole team, to this crew over here for selling, keeping everybody in line, keeping us together. And we're excited to announce our opening here. So thank you for being here. Appreciate your time. Lastly, I'd like to introduce my friend Mike Preston here for him to be able to say a couple words about Westrock and what this is for the state of Arkansas. So please welcome Mike. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Will. Appreciate it, and really appreciate your friendship and getting to know you the last few years, and the entire Ford family for all the commitment you've had here in Arkansas and the impact that you've had over our economy for so many years. And it generates beyond everything you can see. But first of all, I just want to extend a greeting from the governor. He was hoping to be here today, but as everyone's probably aware of the storms that hit northeast Arkansas last week on Friday into Saturday. Governor was up there today and spending some time in Truman and Jonesboro with some leadership. So he extends his apologies for being here, but under the circumstances, he needed to be with some of those families and what's going on. But is very excited about this, and we were on the basketball court last Friday talking about this and how excited we all are to see this come to fruition. Let me back up just a little bit before I talk about the exciting news and what's happening here today. When we got the call from Kimberly Clark that we were in jeopardy of this plant that they'd been occupying for 30, 40 years, 50 years, something like that, for a long time. And what are we going to do? So many sleepless nights for myself and the team at AEDC, obviously Brad and Jamie and the team here in Conway. What's going to happen? And we fought hard. We tried to keep it. We were in a competition with Wisconsin on that. Ultimately, interestingly enough, the unions won in Wisconsin against us. So I kind of laugh today to think that we're still a right-to-work state, and they can't say that in Wisconsin, and they have their own issues now with the facility that we competed with. So, long story short, they decided that they were going to end up closing this facility. Now, it was a couple-year ramp-down period, and Brad was just sharing that they were actually still making face masks up till recently. And I was surprised to walk in here and see how clear out it was, but we were really concerned. What are we going to do to be able to fill this building? Great piece of real estate right off the interstate, very visible, but it's a unique setup. It has to take the right company to come in here with the right needs. And we were fortunate to be able to have that and find that in an Arkansas-grown company. You heard Scott and Will talk a little bit. They're going to be the global leader. They have a global presence. They have a facility in North Carolina. They just built a facility in Malaysia. Obviously, they have the partnership in Rwanda where the beans are grown. This project could go anywhere. They had a decision to make, and they ultimately chose Arkansas, which is their home, and they decided to stay here in Arkansas and grow that as their home. And I can't say enough about what that commitment means to our state, but what does that mean for the immediate impact in the future right now? This ramp up is going to be pretty quick. You're going to turn around and see 50 jobs, and then over the next couple of years, it's going to ramp up to 250 jobs, high-paying jobs right here in this facility, and an investment over $100 million. So because of that, you're going to see what used to be Kimberly-Clark on the side of this. You're going to now see Westrock on the side of that as you're driving down the Interstate 40. So you're going to have people from all over the country driving down this beautiful interstate we have, going through this fantastic community, and knowing that the home of Westrock is right here in central Arkansas, and we couldn't be more proud about that. So just a couple of quick points just to thank a few folks, and do want to point out Clint O'Neill from our team, who's our EVP of Global Business. Lights are bright up here. I don't see where you... There you are, Clint. Clint and Bentley Story, who leads our business development team, have worked closely with Westrock to make sure that the state is doing everything we can to support them in this growth opportunity. And as they have a decision to make, we want that decision to be made a little bit easier by doing it in Arkansas. And because we have the tools and resources to do that, I do have to thank our legislative delegation who is here, and those legislators who work so hard to appropriate those funds and make sure that we can be very proactive and aggressive on an economic development. And it allows us to work with a company, a homegrown company right here, to allow them to continue to grow. You all know the success story that Alltel was and has become, and as it was sold to Verizon, and what that continues to have and that legacy that it has in its state. And this family has rededicated themselves to a new industry, and I have no doubt it's going to be just as successful, if not more successful, than what Alltel was. And because of the legislature support and what we're able to do, and Congressman Hill and what you're able to represent with us in Washington, D.C., we have those tools and resources to put into it, and I couldn't be more pleased for that. So, with that, it's my honor to introduce the mayor of Conway. As you've heard me, anyone who's speak before, economic development is a team sport. We can't do this on our own. Ultimately, a company locates in a community. Yes, we all want them in Arkansas, but ultimately they're going to go to a community. And they're going to go to that community that's going to treat them well, that's going to work with them, that's going to figure out how to move barriers, to help them, reduce the regulations, to get up to speed quicker than other places. Because any delay that you might have, that's the delay on getting open and delay on getting profits and getting those funds back out. So Conway's a fantastic community to work with. I mentioned Brad and Jamie with the Conway Corp and the Chamber and all the great work that they do. But Mayor, it's your town. We're always pleased to work with you, and we see the growth, we see the future, what we have here, and we're so excited that Westrock is now going to be a big integral part of that. And we'd love to hear what you have to say. Mayor, come on up.
Mr. Ford, I grew up in Bunno and lived in Worcester for a time, so we probably run up and down a lot of the same roads. My father-in-law thought a lot of you. Well, this is one of those days where it's really fun to be the mayor of Conway. I mean, it's always fun to be the mayor of Conway, but today's just a really great one. As you all know, Kimberly-Clark was an exceptional community partner in the city of Conway for over 50 years. And when Jamie Gates called me in 2018, he said, hey, I just want to give you a heads up. Kimberly-Clark's probably going to be leaving Conway. Well, my first thought was I was going to be worried about it a little bit, because this is a very unique facility. And as I said, Kimberly-Clark was a tremendous community partner, but we have a tremendous CDC and a tremendous chamber in this city. So I wasn't worried about it. I knew that Brad and his team would get someone in here. And guys, I really appreciate all that y'all have done for Conway. But as I said, this is a unique facility, and I was kind of worried about replacing that community partner because Kimberly-Clark, as I said, they were involved in United Way. They were involved with rebuilding some of our parks. But I am pleased today that we have not only gained a tenant for this building, but we have gained an occupant that invests in its people. It invests in communities, not just where they are located, but globally. And I'm so excited they are going to bring that commitment to Conway, Arkansas. Conway's a very unique city. We're located in the center of Arkansas, and that's a key to us, but what makes Conway such a great place is its people. Look at all of you. Y'all have all made Conway successful. And I know that Westrock Coffee is going to continue that partnership in Conway. We're going to partner with them. We are so excited that we have someone there that is committed to changing lives everywhere. And thank you for allowing me to get up here and speak. I will tell you this, if you come to Conway City Hall for a cup of coffee, it will be Westrock Coffee. And the Ford family, thank you for all that you have meant to this state, to this nation, and to this city. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. Well, my dad tells the story. He says, if you're walking along and you come across a turtle sitting on a fence post, you know it didn't get there on its own, right? And Westrock Coffee is a homegrown product of Arkansas. We love this state. It's why we're here. It's why we've always stayed. And you just got to be honest, right? We were just grinding it out. I mean, I told you a little bit, my wife and I had the conversation about how low can this thing go before it turns, and it was bleak. We've been doing this for 13 years, and I fed it for 10. Why do most businesses fail? Because you can't feed them for 10 years while you wait for them to turn, that's why. And she just stuck with me, and we wrote it out, and then when it turned spectacularly. But it turned spectacularly because we found some financial partners that would back us, that believed in what we were doing and why we were doing. They're represented today by Patrick Kruchek over here. They're with Brown Brothers Harriman out of New York and Memphis, and you can't find a better financial partner. Patrick, thank you very much, and we appreciate you. Next, I just have to call it out. Walmart does business with small Arkansas companies. Yes, they're demanding. Yes, they want it perfect. Yes, they want it on time. And yes, they want a great value for themselves and for their customer. That's how the system works. And if you'll deliver it, they will stay with you. We didn't deliver perfect product on time every time in the beginning, right? They had to stay with us and help us get better. And they did. And this company today exists because Walmart stays with little companies in this region that they try to help grow. So if you get a chance to say thank you to them, however you do that, make sure you do, because this company is existing and this facility has come to exist because Brown Brothers backed us and Walmart stayed with us. And that doesn't get any closer than home. Lastly, and maybe most importantly, the employees of Westrock. You joined me on a dream quest that was like not exactly sure how that was going to go. Chris Pledger, who's standing over here, I said, Pledger, I want to buy a building and build a coffee plant in Rwanda. I can't find anybody who can help me do that. And he goes, oh, that's not that big a deal. I said, how can you, everybody says impossible, can't be done. How can you say that? And he goes, well, I've been in Kazakhstan and southern Peru and such and such stand. This looks easy from that. So I said, well, come on. So thank you. Thank you. I called you out. The Westrock team is the best executive team I've ever worked with, bar none, anywhere. We just needed an opportunity to get our feet under us and to get this business model cranking. Today, the largest retailer in the world, the largest restaurant chain in the world, the second largest restaurant chain, the third largest restaurant chain, the second largest retailer are customers of this business because a bunch of local folks said, I'm going to help. I believe in the mission. I believe in what we're going to do. I believe in the free market system, and we can help people all the way through the supply chain to feed their children. And it worked. And it worked. And you're here to testify to it today. So thank you for coming. I hope you have a great afternoon. Thanks for taking the time to come by. And we're going to be hiring Will. Will, when?
We'll start hiring Q3 of 2022.
Q3 of 2022. Spread the word. We need help. Thank you very much. Y'all have a great afternoon.